Hey guys, welcome to Hair Mafia. Yay!
Boss Lady's back.
I am back. I missed last week. And we had a really fun guest I saw, but I'm not going to say who it was yet. You will just have to listen and or watch to see. But that was really cool. I was kind of jealous. I was like,
I know
dang.
the way it lined up.
But no, it was
like,
good. Yeah,
dang.
it's totally good. I had some travel woes, so I couldn't make it in. I've had a lot of this last couple of weeks has been really strange, but mine's kind of a long story, and we're actually just going to talk about AJ's weekend, and then we're going to jump into my last week and a half.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of how that goes. But it does have to do with hair, obviously, because
But so what? Y'all like listening because life, it happens.
Yes.
So my weekend, I'm not proud. There are some things I'm going to that I'm going to omit, but honestly, it's really kind of funny. So let's just put out that Friday, I was actually off and I kind of forgot that because we had some electrical that we had fixed. So I was like at the outlet mall flirting with people. I don't even know what I was doing. My life was a mess. And then I went to like all these different bars. I went to a Halloween party with this guy. He's beautiful, whatever. And then I won some prize at a med spa. He was
Which one?
Treatment room.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I was we had matching costumes. He was a botched patient and I was the doctor.
How funny.
But he was like, I get services here. So you can just have the prize. He was like, it doesn't make a difference. So that was cool. Saturday, long story short, I worked. And then I got like kidnapped till 4:30 a.m. and I don't even know why. And I guess I'll just come out and say it. Like I'm on Tinder. I'm trying to date, do all these crazy things. I've been talking like 6 people. Nothing's really coming of it. And then just some other people that I've crossed hairs with in the past. And then the ex shows up and I'm like, I'm about to be jumped and fucked up. Because if any of them see me talking to one of them, I'm like, they're probably going to like choke me up against the wall, which sounds like a good time most of the time, but not today.
All right.
I end up at this after party and some guy comes up and he's just like really rude to me. He was like, you couldn't possibly think that anything would come of our interactions. And I said, if you tell me to text you and hang out, that's what I expect. And I was like, you never text me back. And he was like, yeah, because I'm a horrible human being. And I was like, I didn't say all that, but please leave me alone. And then I guess the guy that was interested in me, he's like sitting on his lap and kissing him. And I'm like, you can lay claim to whatever. He's like dressed like Crocodile Dundee. Looks like he has a BBL, titties out. I'm like, sir, please leave me the fuck alone. Like live, laugh, leave.
So, so rewind back to who even just walks up after you've hung out with him and says you couldn't possibly think that anything was going to happen with us hanging out.
That's how it started.
Be like, I was thinking it actually, and you just finished it, so bye.
Right.
Like,
I was like,
what does that even?
Can we start with hi?
Yeah. Or how about just don't talk to me?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Oh, and in the meantime, I was like, hey, since we're hanging out at your house, you don't have to Uber. Next thing I know, like, these big bone, burly wannabe bears pile into this car that's a rental. And it's like 2 people are sitting in the front, 2 people are sitting behind me, like on laps. And then the guy that invited me over, who like ambushes me, is just sitting in the back. And I can only see his like head in the rearview. And he's like, and I'm like, my car's dragging. Like I'm gonna get some kind of penalty fee. The windows aren't tinted.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
We're all going to jail. And then Sunday I went to drag brunch.
At the Boom?
Yeah, at the Boom. It was funny. I just kind of wasn't in the mood. I didn't go to bed till like 5 and then I had to like go to like an appointment at noon. And I was just like, I don't even know what the hell happened. And then I went to a 1-year-old's birthday party. So that was cool. It was more entertainment than I want. And I bought some Ugg boots that I absolutely hate. Like, they're really a cute shoe, just not for me.
Are you going to take them back?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
For $150, yes.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. That sounds like an eventful weekend.
Yeah, I guess. Like, maybe I regret it. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm trying to block it out.
Yeah.
What about your
Blocky
weekends?
block. Weekends?
Because you were
plural?
missed. Like we held it down at L and J.
Yes. I don't have a care in the world about that. I know y'all will. So education. I had 2 big education weekends planned. We went to Arlenson and J. Edwards, and I had already, whenever I purchased that ticket, I purchased this other one in Vegas and then this other one in Richmond, Virginia. And so I was like, cool, I'm just going to buy them. I'm going to get it out the way, whatever. Well, so not this past Saturday, a week and a half ago Saturday, I was scheduled to fly to Vegas, and I did. But one of my really good friends had passed away that week. And so I was like, maybe I shouldn't even go. And then I was kind of bummed because Caitlin was actually supposed to go to Vegas with me anyways, but then she ended up canceling. She hadn't bought her ticket to the class yet. Something came up. She had to do something with cheer or whatever that Sunday. So she was like, hey, I've got to cancel. And so I just gave her back like her flight voucher because I had purchased the tickets or whatever, the plane tickets.
Because I actually tried to like switch with her and it couldn't happen.
Yeah, it has to be like your name. So she just Venmo'd me the money, whatever. And then you were going to go, but the tickets had sold out.
Yes.
And so I was already like bummed. And then I was just like, and then, he passed away. And then his service was Saturday, which I couldn't go to. So I was like, I don't really know. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe this is just bad timing. But I was like, I already bought the ticket. I had already prepaid for the hotel. Like I didn't, and I could have gotten vouchers again, but I was just like, I'm like, I guess we'll just go. Well, so we went Saturday, me and Josh and Lotus. Lotus is my 4-year-old, and everyone's like, why are you taking 4-year-old to Vegas? And I'm like, I'm not taking her to the club. There's like a lot to do in Vegas. Like she had
People
a blast.
live in Vegas.
Right. Like she had a blast. And I'm just like, there's way more than just the casino and partying and all that's fun, trust me. But it's like, there's tons of stuff to do. So we go. Josh's mom had been sick. She ends up passing away Sunday. So then I was like, you know what? I'm probably just not going to go to the class tomorrow. Even though we're here, I'm like, we knew that she wasn't doing good and she was on hospice, but we thought like a week or 2, and it turned out to be like a day. Yeah. And so, obviously he's sad. I'm sad. Lotus kind of didn't understand. But, she knew. She's like, Nana's in heaven and like all these things. I know, it was sweet. But I was like, I'm just not going to go. I don't want to leave him alone. Not that he's not on like suicide watch or anything. I mean, he wasn't like, but like his phone was blowing up and like, his sister's like hard to deal with sometimes. And she's like, you should have been here. You shouldn't have even left. So I'm like, okay, don't even listen to her.
That this was going to happen.
And he talked to his mom before we did leave, like not like the day of or the day before, but a few days, but she was like, go and live your life. Like, please go. Like she was at peace with the whole thing. I mean, and just all of the things. So she's like, she didn't want a service, like nothing. Dang. So they never have had a service for her. We're just going to have a huge party. Like some family from the Philippines are flying in from Norway. And we're just going to have a big party like later on next month. But
celebration of life.
That's exactly what she said. And she was like, I don't want anybody to be sad, like whatever. But I ended up not going to the class, and I'm bummed about it because I'm like, I really wanted to go to that. Yeah. But just like all of the and I didn't ask for a refund. I didn't want to be, I'm whatever. Like I paid for it.
I was kind of involved with all the things that were going on. I saw the itinerary and I was like, okay, dang.
Yeah. And it was really involved in a long, long day. And I'm like, and if probably none of that would have happened, it would have been like, I'll go anyways, obviously, because I had planned on it. So then we just stayed there. We had a good time, got caught in the airport. Our flight got delayed. And then at that time, it was just too late to we didn't want to be in the airport with Lotus all day. So we booked another hotel and then just stayed another night. Yeah. And then we got back that next day. So thank you for doing the clients that you did.
They were wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just always like nerve wracking to kind of, in my mind, like replicate and like produce the work that clients are like used to.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of them are like, whatever, just cover my grays and I'm good. And then some are more picky. But then this past weekend, so then I came back last week and I worked with you Thursday. We had the electrical thing Friday. We did the back remodeling. And then I flew out to Richmond Saturday morning. Yeah. And then I did go to that class and it was very informative and I loved it.
Oh, yeah. So, we loved getting the text about how excited you were.
Oh, my gosh. So excited.
With one of them?
I taught with both of them, actually. Yeah, on their Instagram, they're the blondologist, Ashley, and then the vivid brunette is Sarah, and they both own a salon in Richmond. And I did teach with them in the business of balayage. And so that was fun.
Reunion.
Yes. And I walked in and I kind of felt like special because like, they were like, oh my God, Tracy, what are you doing here? Blah. And they like gave me a hug and I was like, ooh.
Now get me in the front. No,
Yeah. Yeah. But that was really good. I did learn a lot of stuff. I really loved that class because like it's so hard whenever you are an educator or even just trying to tell somebody something about what you're doing and why you're doing it. People think that there's only one way to do things. And so they were getting those questions like, well, but what would you do here? But do you do this on everybody? And they were like, literally everybody's head of hair is different. And and every time somebody wants something different, even if it's the same client, Sally, that comes to you every 8 to 12 weeks, she may want something different every single time. There's always a different game plan. There's always a different roadmap. And I was like, thank you for saying that, because a lot of times someone's like, I want it a little darker. Maybe I want it a little bit lighter. I just need it gloss this time. Or
even if you're like growing in your learning as a stylist, you learn to tweak formulas to do the same thing better.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't just do the same foil pattern on every single person because everybody's hair is different density. It moves differently.
Lumpy skulls.
Yeah, just all of the things. So I love that they definitely said that. Like, I will do a certain technique, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to do this exact pattern or even technique on every single person that comes in. So I really liked that. And then, of course, so I go straight to the airport after my class and checked my bag. And then we were told that our flight was being delayed 2.5 hours. And so there was no way that I would make my connecting flight from Atlanta to back home here in Oklahoma City. And I'm like, why? So basically I flew to Atlanta, stayed the night, no makeup, no deodorant, no toothbrush, had to sleep in my contacts.
Everything. Because your swag bag was fat.
That's why. So my swag bag was huge and I loved it, but I barely got my suitcase zipped. And so I was like, I'm just going to check this whole bag because I had to take it actually out of the packaging and I ended up throwing the box away. And I was like, this box is so cute. Like Schwarzkopf sponsor them and made it, and it was just so cute the way they did it. But I was like,
did you take pictures of it?
I did. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought that I sent them to you. So I ended up just deconstructing the whole thing and packing my bag in their salon and then going straight to the airport, checking my bag. So I had nothing. I literally had my purse and that was it.
Girl, just in the airport, musty.
It's nasty. Ugh. I wasn't musty, but I probably was that next morning because I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, why does this happen to me? So Delta was like, we'll give you a hotel voucher and all these things. And the hotel was, sorry, Delta, the hotel was shit. But, it's whatever. But my thing is just the people. Like, it's already hard enough. Like, we talk about doing hair clients and people can be difficult. I'm like, people traveling, I'm like, hey, I'm annoyed that my flight got delayed now like twice in 1 week, but like these people are crazy.
They are. Sorry, I had a flashback to when I got stranded in Mexico and these hot ass flights helped me with my voucher.
Well, see, they're nice.
but no, you got the short end of the stick.
But no one was personally rude to me. It's just I saw so many people freak out over like nothing. Like I haven't even left Oklahoma City yet, going to Atlanta, then Richmond. And how they board is how any other plane boards. It's like first, or they'll do like military or like people in wheelchair, elderly, and then they'll do first class and then second class, or however they do it. And this lady just tries to walk on, and they're like, "Ma'am, we're only boarding first class right now." And I mean, she's like, why does it matter? We're all on the same plane. We're all going to the same place. And it's like, what? It is 7:30 in the morning. Like, why? I mean.
Girl, check the bag and your attitude.
Well, yeah, but it's like, Well, there has to be some sort of an order. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't just go on, and then she's just like mad the whole time. I saw a lot of people freak out like that on flight attendants and like the shuttle guy. And I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. I'm like, I guess it's just universal. I guess there's just difficult people everywhere. Cause I thought about hair and I'm like, oh, there's no way. I would have already like hit somebody. Mm-hmm. Like these people were so mean to the 2 flight attendants that said, hey, like our flight attendant like got sick. So that's why we couldn't fly on to Atlanta right then.
Yeah, like she had what, like ear infection or
her
something? Her
eardrum like burst or something crazy in the air. And then whenever they were descending down, that's why they had to send her home like last minute. Like it
wasn't like she didn't show up, like they sent her home.
Yeah, like as soon as she landed, like she was on her, because they'll use the same crew back and forth. And I think Richmond to Atlanta is a fairly like popular flight, leg that they go back and forth all day. But and these people are like, what are you going to do about it? What's Delta going to do? This is bullshit. I mean, this guy in front of me was like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, okay, but like, what? Like, dang. I'm like,
she like, where am I at?
I'm like, I can't. And then they said, do you want to stay here in Richmond? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Whatever's easiest. I want to get home, obviously, but I can stay in Richmond. I can go on to Atlanta. They straight up said, well, Richmond security is relieved at midnight. So I would suggest going on to Atlanta.
She said.
And I'm like,
what that means?
I don't know what that means, but if there ain't no security here, I'm not staying. I'm like, ooh, that's awkward. So yeah, we flew to Atlanta and that was it. And the whole hotel smelled like weed. I mean, that's fine too.
I kind of like the Atlanta story though.
Yeah, but coming into Oklahoma City yesterday was interesting. I've flown, I can't even count how many times I've flown. And I did see a girl picking her nose. That was nasty. But I'm texting AJ and I'm like, this girl is like, and he's like, nasty, gross. And I'm like, yeah, it's bad. But we hit some really bad turbulence coming in. I think it was the storms. And mind you, I'm in the last row because I basically flew standby. So I'm feeling it all. This guy in the row next to me slides up. He's like, I got to throw up. So he goes and he throws up in the bathroom. Because that's how bad it was. I mean, it was bad. And you couldn't see anything when we were landing. Because I was like, somebody open up a window. I got to be able to see outside. Like, because once you start like seeing the ground and you see that you're about to land, then you're like, okay, right. Yeah. But I think just the rain was so heavy and the wind and like the clouds and the fog. This was so funny. We're like turbulence from hell. Like, and I'm not even exaggerating. So when we land and hit, everybody screams because they thought we crashed. Yes. And then I just started laughing whenever we landed. I was like,
what did the lady that was watching like softcore erotica do?
She was. I was like,
you said
what
I was
is she watching? I was kind of like, what is this? It's Virgin River on Netflix. I've never even, well, it ain't Virgin no more. But I was like, what is... But I was like, what is she watching? And then, then the nose picking starts. And I'm like, anyway, I'm like, people are just weird.
Okay. But
traveling is just weird.
Some highlights, because you told me about this and I like laughed so hard because you were like, the people at the hotel or something were like,
no customer service. And I don't need the royal treatment red carpet by any means, if anybody knows me. But I'm like,
so what the highlight was, you were like, okay, the room is just terrible. Go to make some coffee and you were like, all of the creamers are curdled or
they
like
are
chunky. And you're like, okay, let me go get something to eat. And you ordered like 2 things. And then he was like, we ain't got no wings, so pick something else. You're like, okay, cool, I'll have a Caesar salad. And he said, I ain't doing all that. He's like, you have to pick something that's worth the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you were like, whoa. He's like, I got to get my manager and blah, 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 blah. So my favorite part, he literally says, here, I'll get you the Caesar salad, but you ain't getting no cheese, no croutons, no nothing. You were
it's like, he thought I was trying to get something over on the hotel. I'm like, I ordered a BLT and 6 wings. He's like, hey, we don't have the wings. It was $8. He said, choose something else. So the Caesar salad was 10. I'm like, and then that was like a big deal for him. He's like, well, I don't want to get my manager over here. I already charged it to your room. You already signed it. I ain't trying to do all that. Whatever, we're busy. And I'm like,
you're like, credit it back. He said, I ain't doing all that.
Yeah, he's not doing that either. And he's like, you need to pick something for $8. And I'm like, there's nothing. Like there's nothing on there. And who cares? I'm like, fucking just charge. I'll
But
pay
my
for the
thing is-
wings either way. Just charge me for the Caesar salad.
But how did you not know that there weren't wings before you were letting people order them? But the second story, how did it play out? The wheelchair.
Oh, okay. So that was at the airport. But he ended up saying, yeah, he gave me a Caesar salad. He's like, but I ain't giving you no croutons or no cheese. And I'm like, I mean, is this like your own money?
Yeah.
Like, is that like what?
I'm like, as much stuff as y'all throw away. And
Yeah,
like,
I'm
just-
like, I'm not
just
trying to
it.
get a deal here. I'm not trying to get free stuff. I go to the sundry or whatever they call it. Freezer and fridge is broke.
Because you
I'm
wanted
like,
a snack.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's it.
They're
over
like,
there.
that's all we have. I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, when I get there, I had already had a car rented, and I go up to Hertz. I'm like, hi, I'm Tracy, and show 'em my confirmation. They said, yeah, we ain't got none. That's all they said.
Well, you
Wait,
sent in the group chat and you were like, so this is going to be interesting. And there's like a screenshot of her car with the cover on. She's like, I don't even know what I'm
I don't
getting.
know what I'm getting.
So she was like, just roulette. She was like, well, they ain't got a reservation. And they were like, no, there's nothing.
No, they're like, no, there's zero.
And she's like, thank God I'm just Ubering one way there and one way back.
So I get in my Uber. And I'm like, hi, how are you? She's like, put a mask on. Ain't nobody about to get in my car not wearing a mask.
And then when she talked
I
to
said,
somebody
but I
like,
don't.
these people.
I said, but I don't have a mask. She's like, I'll give you one. Thank you. So, and then she gets in. And she's just talking about the traffic, people. She hates everybody.
Is she talking to you or is she on like Bluetooth or something?
Me, but or herself.
Just like out.
Yeah, she's talking to me. She's like, these people trying to come in here not even being vaccinated, and I'm like, I can't even talk. I just want to get to the hotel, and then the hotel was bad. I didn't even know that I had a balcony with like a sliding door with the lock was broke. I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, yeah, coffee was like curdled, the creamers. What else happened? It was just terrible. Oh, so Atlanta.
And it's not funny.
No,
but
these are
just
not
the
fun.
way.
Well, the people with Delta, I can't even go into that. That was really bad. They were literally
Because they're
cussing.
like, fend for yourself, rebook yourself.
Yeah, they were like, be vigilant and go on the Delta app and rebook your flights. And I'm like, there are none.
I'm like, I'd rather get my ass beat on United.
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? I was looking for other flights. I'm like, I'll just buy another flight. But so I checked into that hotel at 1 a.m. in Atlanta, and then I had to be back at the airport at 6 a.m. So no sleep there. Man, I gotta text you pictures of that room too. Wow. Anyway, it was not good. But so I had got to the airport, did all of that, and I was like, they said as soon as you get there and check in, wait for your gate to show Oklahoma City on there, and then go and get your seat assignment. So that wasn't open yet. I go, I'm standing behind this couple. It almost seems like a man and then like his mom in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. And the girl looks at me and she's like, how many? Just one? Totally just like looks over them. And I'm like, oh, I think you guys were here first. And she said, oh, we don't even have any room for a wheelchair in here. This is the Atlanta airport.
She was like, ain't no access. I was like,
no, she was like, well, I mean, what can you see that we're busy? We don't have any room for her wheelchair. And I'm like, and then they just like walk off. And I'm like, man, this is sad. Of course, I still go in there and eat. But so then I get done. I see, I'm like, oh, here's my gate. It was right over by there. I walk up to this man and I'm like, hi, I'm just here to get my seat assignment. He straight looks at me. No emotion, no nothing. Not hi, how are you? Not okay. Let's see. He said, it's too early for all that. And I'm like, early for what? He's like, the plane ain't even here. You'll get your seat assignment when you get it. Okay. Well, so that was that.
then you make it back. Welcome home. We're so happy to see you.
Yes. My
Toilet's
seat.
flooded.
Yes. And then I come in today and our toilet is leaking underneath our flooring in the salon bathroom. So
And you take it all in stride, but it's like the running
Why?
joke. But your truth is, since I've known you and everybody, you have the worst luck. And it's not
I do
even
actually.
a joke.
No, I do.
Like, it's just almost like, what next? Like, let's not jinx it.
It's just annoying stuff. It's not like real tragedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, knock on something. I hope that's not what all this turns into.
But it's almost like somebody said this and it like really clicked. They were like, I would rather one big bad thing happen than like this little piddly shit happen, because that's what ruins my day. Like, if you're gonna inconvenience me, just ruin the whole day. Like, at least I know. But I'm like, I think I'm over one thing, and then just keeps dominoing.
And then it's like, why? But today was a good day, and I'm so happy to be back home. And I'm meeting the plumber at the salon at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So,
but here's the deal: to kind of bring it full circle, more into hair.
Okay,
it's just like, these are the things that go on behind the scenes for us to be better, to service our industry. Because I'm like, it's not like we go to class, like we have to travel, we have to do things.
Money.
And it's like, we're always keeping like someone in mind. And so it's just like, we get excited and we love these things. And it's like, not everybody is like this, but when we get pushback, it's like, we're trying to like provide the best service. And you're like, why is it that much or whatever? And you're like, well, let me
Why are you raising your prices?
Yeah, let me treat you like knockouts or something. Right. Great clips. Like,
I saw a lot of bad customer service. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what I'm going to start doing. Not really, but
I'm like, and y'all not fired? Like, there's no complaints.
No
like,
firing.
How come no one cares?
Yeah, 4 elevators, 1 works. I'm like, no wings, door locks. Cottage cheese in the creamer. I'm like, okay.
And it's hit or miss kind of at the airport too, because I'm like, you can travel with hair products, but I'm like, they don't care about throwing it away.
No, I've had to throw full makeup bags away because I had those old school nail files that look like the long knife. Yeah, and they were like, you need to throw this away.
We have a skewer.
Yeah, and I'm like, but no, that's just traveling. I think it's whatever, but we do go through a lot for education. I mean, I didn't think that the Linson thing was bad, but you drove there that morning and drove back that night. I mean, so it was like...
I fell asleep at the wheel like 4 times because I was like, I just need to go back home. But minor inconvenience. Remember the torrential rain that happened for like 30 minutes and we were like flooded in there?
Yeah.
It was just like, how are we getting out of here? There was like sinkholes.
There was. Yeah. Just like right around the block. And it's like, but we do go through a lot for all that stuff. Nothing crazy really happened whenever we went to Utah. Except for they gave us a minivan and I just ordered like a Camry and they were like, here's your minivan. I'm like, I guess this is what we're driving?
Yeah. I mean, I did go on a couple at midnight adventures on the scooter and everything was like closed because I didn't want to like knock on y'all's door and be like, y'all want to go on an adventure. Well, we learned about soaking and jump soaking. So look that up.
So weird.
And Josh, once you find out what it was so funny. We were texting him. We were like, do you know what soaking is? And he looks up. He's like, ain't nobody soaking my girl but me.
He's so jealous.
It's like, Josh, ain't nobody even looking our way. But
like, no offense to Utah. They were kind of boring. I was like, dude, everything's like closed.
Yeah.
And they just didn't have... It was beautiful, that mountains. They had a lot of like old churches that were super pretty. Yeah.
That's the thing I guess I wasn't expecting, but it made sense when we were there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was still fun.
Yeah. It was like Bible, brewery, hair salons.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. Yeah. Outdoors. The air was so crisp. I know that's like when you go to the ocean, like the water's blue, but it was just like, you have to experience it.
Mm-hmm. And Richmond was really pretty, really green, like tons of trees. I didn't know that it was so close to DC, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm really bummed out about the Vegas thing. But they said that they're going to start having them every year, so I'll just go next year. And I already streamed. They have like this education TV channel that I stream, so that's why I originally wanted to go because I was like, I love this.
Yeah, I want to go to the Redken Symposium. They sometimes have them in Vegas, but I don't know.
Or like New York,
what it's going to be this time.
Yeah.
So that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, but the education, it was really good this time. It's good to see just other people doing it. And everybody was super nice at the class, like,
Except I missed a potential boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, he was real cute.
He was sassy and cute is what you said.
He was sassy, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
So this guy comes in during the class and he's like... can I get a haircut? Y'all doing haircuts today? And he's like, his phone's blaring with rap music. And they're like, I'm sorry, sir. We're like doing a class. All of a sudden you hear like, he wasn't wearing heels. It was more like boots. So you hear like him like walking over. He goes, sir, first off, turn the music off. And I was like, I like this guy. And then he was like, can I get my haircut? He was like, obviously we have something going on today. He was like, scan that QR code. And then he was like, and then go ahead and make an appointment from the QR code.
Man, I don't know how to do all that.
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know how to do all that. He goes, well, just, I'm sorry. And then he kind of like pushed him out the door like softly and then he locked it. I'm like, I kind of like this guy.
We need security.
Yes. I think that that's it with the crazy travel story and education. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to be back. And
You
Yeah.
ain't leaving for the rest of the year.
I am not leaving for the rest of the year.
Bet
So
not.
yeah, bet not. I'm not.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in.
We
and
love
then
you.
we will see you next time.